AI is taking over absolutely everywhere, and it is no different on Google now. And Google Ads have now launched new AI ads, AI search ads specifically, which, if you're not aware of, will start to creep and drastically increase over time your cost per estimate from your Google ads and your LSA, and you're going to be wondering what is going on. And so we're going to be covering how to leverage this in this video, what it actually is, because it's a brand new thing and it's very cool, and it's going to be changing the game for everybody. AI search results in Gemini AI for Google searches was already changing the game a ton on the organic side, and now on the paid ad side, we have Google's new AI search ads. And this is something every waterproofing company, and not just waterproofing and foundation repair, everybody running Google ads is going to need to be aware of, because that AI search at the top of Google was already starting to take away a ton of clicks organically for businesses who weren't optimized for it, but the ones who were getting a ton of extra traffic. And now it's going to be the same with these Google AI search ads. And so every single owner needs to make these changes before your Google spend gets absolutely wrecked and you're wondering why and just don't even know how to fix it. So by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what Google's AI search ads are, AI Max, and actually change under the hood how you're going to go about running these types of paid ad systems, and which 4 settings to audit this week, and how do you keep your Google spend profitable instead of watching it get quietly redirected into junk searches and absolutely blowing your budget. Because I have companies come to me all the time and they ask, hey, have you noticed Google's cost per lead and cost per estimate going up over time? And we're like, yes, absolutely. We've noticed over the last few years, and it's going to continue going up over time as more and more people are pumping more and more into Google ads. You're going to notice your results going up. But when these new features come out, these can change the game for everybody. And now, one of the biggest things that this is going to expose is terrible speed to lead. And we're going to get into that more as well. But Google just opted your waterproofing account into AI search ads by default, and most owners have no idea it even happened. So Google's rolling out AI Max for search. It's a bundle of AI-driven targeting, matching, and creative features layered on top of your existing search campaigns. And so in most accounts, it's opt-out, not opt-in, meaning if your media buyer or agency or whoever's running your Google ads didn't touch it or didn't turn it off, it's already influencing your Google search campaigns and where your budget goes by default. And so it expands what your keywords match against, it rewrites your headlines on the fly, and it picks its own landing pages from your site, which, as you can probably tell, can be pretty detrimental if not set up properly. And so for waterproofing foundation and crawl space accounts specifically, which is of course who we work with primarily, that means that Google is now free to spend your money on searches that you never necessarily approved of. And this video is the plain English breakdown of what changed, why it matters, and the 4 settings to audit before your next monthly invoice so you can keep your metrics and your KPIs in a good position. And if nobody in your business has said the words AI Max out loud, assume that it's on and assume it is steering your budget. Now, the biggest complications, all right? The average business takes 42 hours to answer a lead. This is across all businesses, pulled from Harvard Business Review. 42 hours is the average speed to lead. AI Max will happily send you more of them, more of those leads that you're not responding to at a higher cost. And so, of course, 42 hours is the average response time to a new inbound lead, and 23% of companies never respond to a new lead at all. 27% of inbound leads 27% of inbound leads ever get contacted, which means the other 73% are pure ad waste. 27% total leads are getting contacted, 73% are going to waste. That is a huge, huge bottleneck in businesses already, which is one of the big things we help fix, and one of the biggest things that needs to be a focus for you as well. And AI Max is a volume amplifier. So if your numbers are bad, it's like you have a leaky bucket. We always use this analogy. If you have a bucket with holes in it and you're trying to pour more and more water into it, you're doubling the amount of water that goes in. You're just doubling the amount that's coming out through the holes as well. You need to patch those holes. And that's the same situation here, where if your business already has these holes in it and your speed to lead is terrible, getting more leads is not solving your issue, because it's just going to be even more leads in total that are falling through the cracks, and you need to patch those holes. Dial in your speed to lead, and then firstly, dialing your speed to lead will probably give you more jobs than you can even handle right now. You'll probably need to bring on more crews and more salespeople before you even double your leads or increase your lead flow. But if you turn on AI Max, you're going to be bringing in a ton of volume into a broken system. Now, what has actually changed? AI Max isn't necessarily better targeting. It's 4 separate features that Google bundled and turned on together. One is search term matching. Google now uses AI to match your keywords to a much broader set of queries, well past traditional broad match. Your basement waterproofing near me keyword can trigger on searches you wouldn't necessarily bid on manually. Now, number 2 is text customization. Google auto-generates and rewrites your headlines and descriptions in real time using content it scraped from your website, even if you didn't approve those exact words. This is big. This is very important because of the fact that you want to have a ton of blogs, a ton of stuff on your page, because that helps a ton with the AI, Google AI Gemini search. When people are searching stuff in that Google AI area shows up at the top, it is good to have a lot of extra blog posts and stuff on your website to appear in those searches and recommendations, but it can also potentially negatively affect the text customization, which you need to be aware of. Number 3 is final URL expansion. Google can override the landing page you set and send traffic to a different page on your site that it thinks will convert better. And so even to pages you'd never use as a paid landing page. And this is really important because these, at the end of the day, all paid ad channels, Meta is very notorious for this as well, where it recommends a ton of stuff to you that you need to go in and turn off because it is designed to get you to spend more and not necessarily to improve your results from the platform. Because at the end of the day, Meta, Google, these are companies, right? They want to make as much money as possible. And so them recommending certain features for you to turn on, a lot of the times are there to make you, to lead you to spend more money on their platform, not necessarily get better results. And so like on Meta, for example, when we set up a Meta campaign, it is pretty much a golden rule that you turn off absolutely every single thing that Meta is recommending you to turn on. And it's very similar with Google. And so it's going to be the same with these types of Google AI Max settings. Number 4 is asset-based targeting. Instead of only targeting your keywords, Google now uses your landing pages and business info as targeting signals, closer to performance max logic bolted onto search. And it's not one setting, it is 4 independent levers Google flipped on at the same time. Each one changes a different part of the account. Now, search term matching. AI Max can spend your money on flooded basement DIY when you're paying to book estimates, which, as you can tell, if somebody's looking up, hey, how do I fix my basement? How do I do it myself? Or they're looking up things like waterproofing salesperson salary. Those aren't necessarily searches that you want people clicking on your website for because they're, one, looking for DIY tutorials on how to do it themselves, maybe patch a crack or something. And the other thing is they're looking for employment. They're not looking for somebody to come provide a service. And so those are the searches you don't want clicking on your page. But with old, broad phrase match type targeting, which if you're not aware of what broad match is, it is anything that is similar to your search. Whereas phrase match is, let's say you're searching for basement waterproofing near me. That's the phrase match. But somebody searches, are there any waterproofing companies in my area that can help or something? That will be a phrase match because it's very similar to the basement waterproofing near me. And then there's, of course, exact match where it needs to be word for word. And so this old, broad, and phrase match keyword targeting is triggered on close variants of basement waterproofing cost. You could see every search term in the report. Negative keywords blocked junk clearly and predictable. Which queries burned the budget. You can see everything. AI Max search term matching triggers on semantically related queries that Google decides on that are not that are variable, right, depending on the situation. And some search terms get grouped and hidden as other. Negatives still work, but you have to catch them first. DIY, renter, and info only queries can slip in silently. Example, pull your search terms report this week. If more than 10 to 50% of your spend is on queries that read like DIY, tenant, or how much does it cost, info hunts that aren't, strict searches for your service, then AI Max is doing exactly what we're warning about right here. Now, text customization. Google is now writing your ad copy, and it doesn't know the difference between free inspection and free estimate. And so AI Max scrapes your website and auto-writes headlines and description variants at auction time. In waterproofing, small wording changes, right? And this is not waterproofing specific, but in all industries, small wording makes a big difference on any ad. Any change you make, it makes a difference. And so you might see that free inspection is pulling a lot of tire kickers, which we actually notice a lot, which is why we always use free estimate. We never say free inspection or free quote. Free inspection, you might be pulling a lot of tire kicker leads, a lot of maybe broke leads that are coming through, whereas free estimate for signs of foundation movement pulls buyers, or just free estimate in general pulls a lot of higher intent leads. And Google might flip that on you without you even knowing and completely ruin your lead quality, and you won't know why. Number 3 is you lose the ability to A/B test copy cleanly because 2 users searching the same term may see 2 different AI-generated ads. And number 4, the auto copy also loves to promise things that your ops team can't back up. It might say same-day service, 24/7, lifetime warranties on service that you don't offer that way, right? And that, not only with services like this, can make false promises to leads, but also get you caught up in legal trouble potentially, right? And number 5, either turn text customization off or lock down your site pages so Google can only pull approved language. Very important, especially you do not want to be making false promises like this. You don't want to be promising lifetime warranty on things that you have 10-year warranty on. You don't want to say you're open 24/7 when you're not. You don't want to offer same-day service for emergency services when you can't, right? And then if you wouldn't hand your Yellow Pages ad to an intern who's never met a customer before, Don't hand your Google copy to an LLM that scraped your about page. Now, final URL expansion. AI Max will send your $80 clicks to your about page if it decides is a better fit. And this is terrible. You never want to be sending leads to your home page, to your about page, to your contact page, anything. You want to send them to specific service and city pages, right? And now this is dangerous because this can decide all of a sudden that your leads are better sent to your about page or your contact page, which is not going to be ideal. Number one, the old rule, one ad group, one landing page. You controlled where the click went, what offer they saw, and which form they filled out. And what AI Max does is it can override your final URL and route the click to any page on your site, about, service subpages, a random blog post that I think matches the query, which can completely ruin your cost, and you might see your cost per click and your cost per lead drastically go up. Now, why that wrecks the math? Top 10% of landing pages convert at around 11%. The average site page converts closer to 1 to 2%. Sending paid traffic to unoptimized pages quietly triples your cost per estimate. The fix is either turn URL expansion off entirely, which I recommend for this, or explicitly whitelist only the pages you built and tested on paid landing pages. I recommend turning it off entirely. It's just not necessary. Your best landing page probably converts 3 to 5 times what your homepage would. Do not let the algorithm quietly swap the two, or you will be spending so much more without even realizing. Now, the landing page tax. Top landing pages convert, like I said, at 11%, plus or minus a little bit, but it's always around that 11% mark. Average site pages sit near 4% or lower. AI Max routes clicks to the wrong ones. And so if you're sitting at 11%, which is great, and even if you're top 1%, it's closer to like 15%. That's amazing. And if you all of a sudden see that, hey, your conversion rates are dropping to like 2%, 3%, 4%, and you don't know why, you can pretty much assume that this is going to be the case. It's probably sending it to a terrible page, because about pages are not designed to convert leads, right? And so it's pretty normal that they're not going to convert nearly as well. And every time AI Max sends a click from your best page to a random site page, you're effectively paying 3 to 5 times, even upwards of 10 times more for the same booked estimate that you would have got otherwise. Now, on the two showing the money leaks here. On 1,000 clicks a month, we're going to break down the numbers. Letting AI Max reroute traffic can cost you 45 booked estimates a month if you're getting roughly 1,000 clicks, right? And so let's say you're spending, right, let's say it's low cost per click, like $5 cost per click. You're spending $5,000 a month on Google Ads, and you're getting 1,000 clicks. So 1,000 clicks, 60% get routed by URL expansion. So you're getting 400 that reach optimized landing pages. Only 400 because 60% got sent to other landing pages. Now, convert on optimized page, it's 11%, right? Give or take. We're saying they got sent to the right page, 400 of them did, 11% got sent, and they convert on random site pages, right? The rerouted path is only 2%, right? 2% of the 600 is only 12. So 12 out of the other 600 that didn't get sent to the right page, plus 44, is 56 leads, right? Which is not that great because you're missing out on a lot here, right? Whereas this would have been, if it was 11% of 1,000, that's 110 leads compared to 56, pretty much cut in half. And so that is a huge detriment, right? And you're going to be in a very, very bad spot, especially because when you factor in that a very high percent of Google leads convert into estimates, I'll say probably about 70 to 80%. So you're looking at 40 estimates or so out of these 56 leads versus about 80, 90 estimates out of the 110 leads that you could have had if you had this setting off. It's literally one click. One toggle would have doubled your estimates, essentially. Now, AI Max sends more volume into a pipeline where 44% of shops give up after one follow-up call. And this is an even bigger factor. Shops that quit after one attempt is 44%. Sales that require 5+ follow-ups is 80%. And sales that close on the first touch, 2%. So if we're looking at this, you're missing out on so much. Whereas firstly, this is the foundational thing here that you need to fix. Fix this first. Make sure that your settings are set up properly in Google Ads, and you will be in a very good spot. AI Max makes your top of funnel bigger. If your follow-up game is broken, all it does is stretch the leak across more leads. Now, the 4 settings. There are exactly 4 toggles to audit this week, and I recommend you do it immediately. You get your media buyers on it immediately if they're not already, or whoever's managing your Google Ads. And so this is not a full account rebuild. It's very easy to do. 1, open every search campaign, settings, AI Max. Check whether AI Max is enabled at the campaign level. Screenshot the current stats before you change anything so you can keep track of it. Step 2, decide on search term matching. Keep it on only if you have negative keyword hygiene weekly. If you don't worry about it. Otherwise, turn it off and stay on phrase exact. Number 3, turn off text customization. Force Google to serve the headlines and descriptions you wrote. This is very important. I will never let AI generate my headlines and stuff automatically. Re-enable only after you've locked down the site copy. This is also a huge one. Restrict final URL expansion. Either turn it off entirely or whitelist only your proven paid landing pages. This is not something you want to have here. And 5, pull the search term report weekly for 30 days. Aggressive negatives on DIY, renter, costs only, and job seeker queries. It just searches from leads that you know are not ideal customers. Compare cost per booked estimates week over week. Now, you can't judge AI Max on leads alone. You have to measure cost per booked estimate, which is of course much more important. So if you have this here, right, clicks with AI Max on and no fixes and lockdown setup. You're getting leads 56 versus 110, right? We broke down this math a few minutes ago. Booked estimates, let's say it's 50%. We're being very conservative. Usually we can see 70, 80% on Google Ads. You're getting 28 estimates versus 55, pretty much double. Cost per booked estimate is 214 versus 109. 109 is amazing. Closes at 30% rate. Sometimes with Google Ads, we see it even higher. 8 close estimates versus 16, quite literally doubled. Revenue, 8K average ticket, 64K, 128K, quite literally double the revenue by having this one toggle off that takes 2 seconds, right? AI Max is a preview. Google is moving your account towards Performance Max, whether you like it or not. And when we run ads for companies, we're never running Performance Max regardless. Where Google search used to be, you pick the keyword, you wrote the ad copy, you choose the landing page, you could read every search term. Google is now heading where AI decides which queries qualify. AI generates the copy for your site. AI picks the landing pages from your site, and you get aggregate reports, not the full transparency. And this is great for Google as a company because they're going to be making so much money off of people who aren't aware of this and just let Google recommend whatever they want. But you need to stay on top of this. You need to make sure that you are making these changes to make your company as profitable as possible on Google Ads, or this will seriously cause a lot of damage. So I hope this gave you a bit of insight into what is changing. And this is just the beginning of what Google's probably going to be recommending. Me and my team, we spoke about this a long time ago, talking about, hey, AI is definitely going to be playing a bigger part into these paid ad channels. I expect Meta to do something pretty similar with a lot of these more so AI setup generators that are happening in real time as ads are live, AI making tweaks and changes, which Meta already has quite a bit, but now Google's getting onto that as well. And it's going to be a big change for how Google ads are run. So stay on top of it.